Warrior, you're not here by chance. You're looking for something more profound, real. But here's the bad news. In actuality, most guys are caught in a vicious loop of mediocrity, pursuing transient cravings, never fully comprehending what constitutes a they believe it's about the irresistible man. Appears to be wealthy or charming, but trust me, those are the high-level, simple diversions. Admire qualities that women aren't really able to. The ones that no one discusses are resist. These characteristics characterize a man's qualities that set him apart in a noise-filled world. If you're serious about unlocking attraction's highest form, you must first develop into a more, rather than merely a shadow of others. You have to possess qualities that are uncommon and demand dignity. This is not for the weak. Heart, if you wish to be a woman's man, are compelled to listen after all. Close to the finish line, since we are going to disclose the high value. Characteristics that no woman can avoid in a man's self-assured manner. Let's face the truth, yet you lack confidence. Unseen, you may appear wealthy or intellect, but if you don't have that powerful presence that you will never possess, either her or anybody else's. Confidence is a necessity, not a choice. Need is the unwavering conviction that you are sufficient and nobody else is. You must have permission to stand. An empire was controlled by tall Marcus Aurelius with, "This writing style doesn't spend any additional time." Debate about what a good guy ought to be. Are you squandering time or turning into? Not only do women perceive confidence, but you may sense it as you enter, the manner in which you maintain eye contact, and the manner in which your voice remains steady when you. Speaking your truth with confidence is fundamental. Signals stability, dominance, and leadership traits that are ingrained in their psychology. In order to determine whether you lack it, they'll search elsewhere. They usually do, I promise. But here's the harsh fact that many guys pretend to enlarge their chests and fling them around. Boldness and hoping no one sees their, let me tell you something, frail core. It is impossible to fake genuine confidence. It originates from discomfort that is forged in discipline and established by activity. It develops when you don't give up, when you triumph over failure, and when you demonstrate stand up for yourself each and every day without any facade you put up. That foundation will fall apart as soon as it is put to the test. Ask yourself, warrior, do you move, living as though you are in control of your destiny, or are you being cautious out of fear that assessed how the two differed? It's mindset, not talent or luck. Being confident means understanding that no one can. You can either offer or remove your value because it's ingrained in your being. It's not loud, doesn't plead for favors. Instead, it's the constant burning flame that burns inside, difficult to put out. And if you're awaiting authorization to begin here, is to quit waiting. It's unnecessary. Approval from someone other than her, a high-value man. Society does not appreciate your past, does not hold off till the stars align, bravely navigates life, aware of he now only needs his own approval. If not, ask yourself if you're that man yet. What's halting you two are listening with empathy. Let's get. The majority of males don't listen to one thing. They nod off and accept noise and await their opportunity to speak. And they then question why women distance themselves. They are classified as emotionally incompetent. If you can't, here's the hard reality. Listen carefully. You're just another A-man who is forgotten amid a sea of mediocrity. Listening with empathy isn't passive. It's not merely hearing is an act of power. Her words are being understood. Feelings, her unsaid anxieties, and her women's secret desires are lustful for this connection. Beyond all else, I assure you that she will select the man who pays close attention to the person who only speaks about himself all the time. Because of their biology, women are predisposed to desire emotional security, and if you are unable to give it to her, and she'll find someone. Epicus reportedly remarked, "We have two to listen, we need one tongue and ears." Twice as much as we say, but the majority of males live as though they're speaking with two mouths, and no one is ever too busy talking to listen. Recognize, don't act like that man when you listen carefully, you two. You, from the 99% of males who are also self-centered to care, you demonstrate to her that you're not only physically there, but emotionally, which is uncommon, irresistible. Allow me to be a little tough now. Moment if you are unable to grasp this ability. You will constantly lag behind her. Connect with someone else and confide in them. Someone else, and ultimately decide on listening to someone else, is not a skill. It serves as a tool for survival in the game of relationships. So consider when you speak, are you truly there, or you're just acting that way because she understands the distinction, and if you're not genuinely paying attention, you've already lost. Let's not overlook her 3 chivalrous manners. Most people today have forgotten to sugarcoat this. How to act like men. They've given up the grace and firmness that characterized true for millennia. Chivalrous masculinity hasn't out of date, rare, and power comes from rarity. When you grasp the doorstep sideways, either stand or be closest to the roadway when she sends a clear message as they enter the room. Message: I'm different from everyone else. Women are aware that chivalry isn't about respect, is the key to impressing her. Respect for both yourself and her. According to a quote from Alexander the Great, I owe my father for my survival, but to my instructor for leading a healthy life. What's your teach the principles you decide to live by? Chivalry is a strength, not a weakness. Reflection of unwavering strength, that kindness is something you can afford, while maintaining your advantage. But here's the terrible truth, that some of you believe in chivalry. You've been deceived, which makes you a wonderful guy. Women reject kindness, not the other way around. Kind men who have a strong backbone. If you believe that paying or unlocking a door for supper gives you the right to her love, instead of being chivalrous, you're selfless. Manipulative chivalry is acting morally because it's what you're not, because of your expectations. Return the favor by asking yourself, warrior, when was the last time you behaved honorably? Just because it was morally correct to. When was the last time you maintained your resolve? Not because someone was observing, but because chivalry was required by your principles. Is a vanishing art, as the majority of guys are also weak enough to embrace it. They believe being vulnerable is riskier than being kind. Softens them, but here's the reality. Being kind without being weak is deadly. A sign of a man who can defend and women, believe me, cherish at the same time. Yearn for this equilibrium, which is ingrained in their psychology, to find a capable leader without care for dominance, without the chivalrous man doesn't submit, just stand out. He turns into, let's have an unforgettable sense of humor. If you can't make her laugh, then face it. You can't keep her around. Women are like a moth to flame. Humor attracts because to its cuteness, but also because it's strong and witty. Sense of humor doesn't simply keep it amused. It disarms intrigues, and it demonstrates to her that you're not shaken by the turbulence of life, that you can embrace the storm with a grin and faith. That is irresistible to me. To be harsh, though, most men get this. They mistakenly conflate clownery with humor. They try too hard and crack desperate gags. To be amusing and wind up looking foolish. Genuine humor isn't forced, it's effortless. The humor originates from assurance. The allure that results from women with intellect are able to detect insecurity. And a mile away from humor, and if your jokes are an attempt to conceal her self-doubt, respect more quickly than you can blink. Mark us at the great leaders of history. For instance, in his writings, Aurelius recognized the ridiculousness of life with a calm, understanding viewpoint. He wasn't at its heart. Humor was pleased, not bitter. Is composed. It's the capacity to chuckle at life, to demonstrate that no obstacle, no failing, nothing can deter you. Decide that when you live this, you're not funny enough, you're magnetic. You must hear this psychological truth. Laughter forges emotional connections when you make her chuckle. You're creating moments by amusing her. Long later, she will replay it in her head. You're gone. Dopamine is released when you chuckle. Feel-good chemical. And you know what? She will connect that emotion to you. However, if your humor is offensive or intrusive, or comes at the cost of another person, the result will be the reverse of distaste. Warrior asks instead of attraction. Your humor is a reflection of who you are, of your power, or serves as a barrier for, do you utilize it to deal with your insecurities, to cover up or connect? Ladies don't want. They are looking for a king who can reduce the world's burden with one witty comment. If you can master, you'll be remembered for this balance. Yet, let me be honest, if you can't, you will fade into the backdrop in a similar manner. Numerous more who were never able to comprehend the actual strength of a sincere, let's quit laughing about physical fitness. Acting as though your body doesn't matter is your initial declaration to the world. Says, before you do a powerful, a well-maintained body isn't merely being handsome, is a sign of your identity. This indicates to her that you're a man who takes charge, who doesn't back down from challenging work, who values himself sufficiently to believe me. He should invest in his own strength. Women are more aware of this than they will ever be. Admit it. But here's also the brutal reality. Many men overlook this, allowing their health decline attributed to time and genetics or unfounded justifications. Do you consider a man such as Alexander the Great? Forces on different continents with a weak body and weakened will, he realized. Physical prowess was inextricably linked to. He trained for mental toughness, not only for war, but to honor both his own and others. If you disregard your health, you're not only becoming less attractive physically, you're declaring to her and the world that you don't take pride in yourself. And let's be clear, is not about beauty. Rather, it's about discipline. The gym is more than a location to develop muscle. It's a testing ground where excuses are eliminated with every ounce of every rep, every sweat, and every painful moment is evidence of your willingness to persevere for growth. Women are attracted to this, rather than because six-packs are important to them, but because they respect what it stands for: commitment, fortitude, and the capacity to overcome psychological discomfort. Fitness and domination are linked. A man radiates life, confidence, and women's biological characteristics of capability. According to studies, wired to seek in a companion that the relationship between physical fitness and to increased amounts of testosterone, which impact not only how you look, but also how charm, vitality, and even the manner in which how you conduct yourself when entering a space. You alone are poised and fit, demands focus, so the warrior asks, what does your body tell you about yourself? At this moment, is it evidence of your punishment or a monument to your justifications? The grim reality is easy to understand if you are unable to control your body. Manage your life, she is deeply aware of it. Down, therefore, is your level of physical fitness lacking? It's about being, not simply about looking good. Prepared for opportunities and challenges, for if you're not ready for life itself, someone else will. Let's get right to the sixth grooming and style step. Your appearance serves as your armor when being chased. How you dress and groom yourself. You decide whatever details are important to you. All of these indications are very clear. Regarding your level of respect for, believe me, Women are aware of take note of everything and the harsh truth if you appear unconcerned. She won't groom herself since it's not vanity. It's mastery over the minor details, ensuring that your beard is trimmed, your skin is clean, and you smell. UN women are forgettable and not overbearing. A physiologically enhanced sense of smell, wired to pick up messages and pheromones of vitality. A man with a pleasant scent who conveys a sense of subtle assurance. Makes an impression that lasts, but neglect way, you'll become part of the group of the style of forgettable faces is the same. It has nothing to do with pricey brands or forget trends. It's about taking ownership of your appear in a sharp shirt and a well-fitting suit. Even the way your sleeves are rolled tells a lot about me. I am a man of Marcus Aurelius did not wear his standards, garments with reckless disregard for every aspect of the appearance of a strong leader reflects his self-control and intellect. If you believe clothes are irrelevant, ask yourself why. All of history's influential people paid communication is the focus of their style. Simply put, but allow me to be harsh. The majority of males harm themselves by becoming. They consider grooming to be indolent or uninterested, is superfluous and superficial in style. The same men who are perplexed as to why they aren't taken into consideration. Women are biologically attracted to men that exhibit orderly features and refinement, which is an indication of mental steadiness. A rumpled man feels untidy as well as looking messy. In terms of psychology, style and grooming are linked to self-assurance. When you appear well, you feel confident and good, emanates from your tone, posture, and total presence. When a man looks for himself, he projects dominance, not violence, but authority. And let's face it, women want power, not turmoil. So warrior, what do you see in the mirror? Are you presenting yourself, do you see, as a valuable man or as an individual who has no regard for his own grooming? And fashion aren't about making people like you. They are about valuing yourself. And why should she if you are incapable of doing that? See it in yourself. The hard reality is, unquestionably, your presentation. You decide how the world works and women react to. You have 7 emotional maturity levels. Being mature isn't about mastering your emotions. The key is to comprehend them, accepting them and making use of them to your benefit. Too many guys reside in the shadow of their feelings, allowing rage to. Their behavior is dictated by fear or jealousy. However, real power comes from refusing to let these feelings to possess you rather than you. Having them means you don't respond to life's difficulties, you handle them calmly. Reason and self-control are what keeps the men and boys apart. Marcus Aurelius was one of the most stoic people to ever held power in an empire, but what set him distinct was his capacity to uphold his emotional stability in the face of chaos of command after his generals failed. He was there when his empire was about to collapse. Marcus did not scream. Bent inside, considering himself feelings, comprehending his reaction, and then coming to choices from a position of calm insight, is the strength of women's innate need for emotional maturity, emotional steadiness, and they will find themselves drawn to a man who proves that women are attracted to guys who don't break down in difficult situations. They are looking for a man who can deal with hardship with fortitude rather than one who snaps in emotional maturity. Rage or insecurity is about accepting accountability for your sentiments rather than transferring them to others. It's important to keep your decisions are influenced by your feelings, but keeping anchored by utilizing them as a compass, calm and composed. When you behave from where you reach a level of emotional maturity, you are the constant in a woman's life. Are dependable individuals that she may trust, doesn't overreact or get caught up in drama to minor issues. You develop into a man who wise leader, who understands when to be. Women are not soft when it comes to being firm. Drawn to disorder, they are drawn to guys capable of bringing about peace, not only in their personal life and in the lives of warrior asks those they care about. How do you respond to life on your own? Difficulties you face, you allow your feelings to assume control of them, or do you lead the way? It's difficult to reach emotional maturity, demands self-control, self-awareness and accountability, but when you live up to that path you lay the groundwork for trust, admiration and respect, and that's the emotional fortitude that no lady can withstand. Thus, it's time to look, warrior, in the mirror and confront the reality of either embrace this growing trajectory and domination, or remain motionless like the innumerable men who are overlooked. The characteristics that we discussed with you today, they serve purposes beyond luring women. They are used to create the life you were. Don't beg. You're supposed to lead high-value males. Seek for attention because they deserve it. Don't follow their orders. It's time to be different from the others. The man who is steadfast and towering in his strength, his presence and his mission. If you're prepared to advance in level, rise above the cacophony and develop into a guy who cannot be disregarded, then post a comment stating that the challenge is accepted, and don't simply stop there. Hit that and subscribe. Alert bell about your progress towards transforming into your best self begins right now, but only if you're really dedicated to the grind. Keep in mind that it's not for everyone. But if you dare,